Sparkling, fragile, opaque Dunkin' dinnerware was scattered along the table. The range was astonishing. Petite teacups sat undisturbed, waiting to be filled to the brim with flavorful tea. Serving plates were piled high with various treats. Punch bowls of exquisite design sat overflowing with dark wines aged older than anyone in the room, and crystallized ashtrays were placed carefully throughout the house, in place for anyone to use. Family dinners were a sight to behold. 3 young men ravenously awaiting dinner to be ready, a husband yet to return from a long day of work, a wife slaving in the kitchen after a long day of etching the fine glass they were about to use. As they sat in preparation for dinner, the radio buzzed with awaited information on the war.
You want fast action, outdoor action, real man-sized action. Well, here's action that tops them all in the combat branches of today's Army. And now, if you qualify, you can choose the action branch you want.
This simply was the life of a high-class family before the war effort. Chaos. Women of all races and sizes sat one by one enthralled in their work, each of them having their own task. Some made clay targets, the tan substance transferring from hand to clothing. Others made fins for rockets and metal cases for atomic bombs. They all had the same goal: to contribute to the war effort. One woman, though, sat in silence, sweat dribbling off her forehead as she worked intently, light sounds of scratching emitted from her workstation. What were once sounds of artistic detailing were now the sounds of mass production. Her dainty fingers gripped the mallet as she formed the metal. Vibrations moved up her arm as she pounded the malleable metal, making her reminisce back to days of simply etching details into glassware. The shouting of the men overpowered her thoughts, reminding her who exactly she was doing this for. The 4 men most important to her, all fighting a battle that was not theirs. Clay targets in the hundreds filed down the line, gathering at the end to be sent off to a multitude of training camps, to be used by thousands of men in training to fight for their country. As the day came to an end, the materials were set aside for transport. Many women filed out, excited to return home to their families, while she went home to an empty house. Day after day, she sat alone in her chair, awaiting the return of the family she longed to see. Months later, they sat working, waiting, and listening, when the radio finally broadcasted what they had hoped for.
I only wish that Franklin D. Roosevelt had lived to witness this day. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flags of freedom fly all over Europe.
Everyone in the factory sprung to their feet, elated looks spreading across their face. The war had come to an end, and their loved ones would be returning. "Boys, get in here. Dinner's ready," she said. Once again, the table was set overflowing with a feast fit for royalty. The house was now filled with laughter instead of loneliness. The war was now over, and we had won.